Hi friends, I'm angry. I am pissed. I am absolutely livid. So I was just scrolling through Facebook, like the one time a month I usually do it because I have nothing to do on there really. I mean, who does at my age? It's all just Facebook moms and boomer memes and all that. But you might know from my last video, I used to be kind of anti-feminist, which means I used to be, I mean not necessarily means, but in my case I used to be pretty conservative, and I'm still like not totally liberal. I'm just like whatever, man. I disagree and agree with things on both sides. Fight me. Um, so that brings me to, I saw a post from Stephen Crowder, who I follow, and a video he shared on his, or not he shared on his website. I don't think he wrote this article. I don't know, this isn't against Stephen himself or anything, but it was on his platform, so, you know, that's what his website's called. His name is in the thing. So what was the article about? The article itself wasn't much, a couple paragraphs just to accompany the video, and that video is what I'm going to talk about today. Okay, so you probably know conservatives generally not the biggest fan of masks. I don't have much of an opinion. I get why people don't like them. Government mandates bad and everything, you know? So in this video, a woman is recording another woman who is wearing a mask and insisting that the recorder woman wears a mask, which I see the title and everything, the thumbnail, I'm like, okay, that's not very nice, but I'm gonna watch the video, see what it's all about. I already look at the comments and they're already being absolute dicks to this woman. I'm like, okay, does she really deserve this? Let's check out the video for myself. So I watched the video, and I don't see like some angry, genuinely bitchy Karen who's like telling people you better wear your mask or you're gonna kill everybody. You know, that I can understand, like, okay, that's a dick move, don't be like that, you know? But what I see is just an autistic woman having a meltdown and this woman recording her, just kind of like recording her. I mean, that's crazy. Like, that's, no one deserves to be recorded when they're having a mental health crisis. And I don't want to like diagnose on the internet, like especially when you only see like a minute of this video, you know? But like, having just had a meltdown before watching the video myself, I can kind of pick out the signs of it, you know? For one, her hands, she was making lots of hand movement as she was talking, and when she wasn't talking, she was covering her face, kind of like turning away, and the whole time this woman is having a meltdown, the one recording her is just kind of consistently talking, like, calmly, which I'll get into, like, her whole deal after, but I'll just go into the signs. I'll just continue staying on topic of the signs of autism that this woman was expressing. So when she was talking, she was yelling. Like, the video had already started recording by the time this woman was yelling, so we don't see any build up to this. And, like, she's not only yelling, she's screaming. She's kind of, her voice is, like, really tight. You know, you can tell when your voice is tight and it's really high and it's cracking, you know? She's, like, yelling, and she can't seem to stop. She can't seem to, like, control the volume of her voice or bring it down. Which is, that's what a meltdown is, baby. And another thing, this is like the most obvious sign, and I cannot believe people didn't like pick up on this or like notice it. I saw like 2 comments being like, hey, maybe she's mentally ill, she's probably struggling here, give her a break. 2 comments out of like, I don't know how many. So many comments, but this one sign that it's like, it's so obvious if you know it. I guess people just don't know it, which is wild. But she was hitting the wall. She hit the wall a time or two, kind of like in frustration. And like, to me, as somebody who knows those signs and everything, emotionally, she didn't seem angry or like accusatory of like, oh, you're gonna kill people if you don't put this mask on. She seemed like genuinely distraught and like uncomfortable in the situation, but like, when you're having a meltdown, you can't really completely control everything, you know? And what gets me is that boomer conservatives love to advocate for mentally ill and disabled people when it benefits them, like, for example, autistic people who have sensory issues and can't wear masks, or people with trauma who, like, don't want their mouths covered because of reasons, you know? They're all for those people, and they're all for, like, I remember a Twitch streamer who had Tourette's, like involuntarily saying the N-word, like she can't control that. I saw conservatives like, why are people getting so mad about this? She literally can't control it. But no, a woman is distraught over somebody like recording her, invading her privacy, egging her on into a meltdown, and she's some crazy bitch who needs to be dealt physical violence. Yes, those are comments I read. What the fuck? So aside from the behaviors of these two women, what were they actually saying to each other? Um, Nothing all that mean. They were just having a disagreement, and the woman who was like yelling louder and being more quote unquote crazy and bitchy is the one who gets villainized, just because she's louder and looks more weird. Because the woman recording did say, like, hey, you told me to get the fuck out, and then the autistic, possibly, lady says, that was only after you refused to do something when I asked you nicely, basically, is what they were saying. That's it. Like, this woman is trying to get across that she's uncomfortable and that she doesn't feel like this woman who's recording her at a really vulnerable and chaotic meltdown time is actually listening to her. And it doesn't seem like the recording woman is listening at all. She just. I mean, I don't want to say that this woman was like provoking the possibly autistic one like on purpose or anything. I don't think her intentions were terrible or anything, but she does come off as very passive aggressive. One part of that is just the general condescending vibes, just the general not listening and just standing there recording this woman, again, having a meltdown. I mean, how do you even do that? What the fuck? But aside from that, one thing that stood out to me is that the recording woman was calling the other my girl, like affectionately, which I don't think she meant it to be like mean or anything, but if you know women and dramatic people on Twitter, disagreeing women calling each other cute pet names, that's generally a sign that they're being really trying to sneak an insult in, because, you know, when on Twitter and everything, like, and in the media or like movies, whatever, when like mean girls are fighting, they often do it really low key and really like snarkily and really passive aggressively, and be like, you're wrong, sweetie, and here's why, and everything. You know, the whole like sweetie thing. I know there's like the whole sweaty meme, like, here's why you're wrong, sweaty. You know, I mean, everybody knows that, you know? Again, I'm not trying to say the recording woman meant this to be passive aggressive. I should also mention that this woman was like Indian, I'm guessing, maybe? I don't know. She wasn't white. That sounds like so racist, like, oh, she did nothing wrong because she's not white, but like, I mean, like, maybe she genuinely meant it to be nice. I don't know. I have no idea. But the thing is, when you're autistic, social cues and norms, you're not great with them. There's the big stereotype that like nobody understands, like, or like no autistic people understand, like, subtle things like that, like calling someone sweetie as an insult, you know? But that mainly goes for boys. Autistic boys are more likely to like not pick up on things. But women, girls, young girls pick that shit up, even if they don't like necessarily get it. They pick it up, they act it, they become it. So like, if this possibly autistic woman hears somebody call her a cute, girly pet name in a disagreement, she might interpret that as, oh my god, this woman hates me. She's internally laughing at me. She thinks she's so much better than me and everything. That sounds like a reach, but like, I mean, an autistic person watching this probably might get it, but maybe a non-autistic person might not understand what I'm trying to say. I don't know. Y'all know Carrie? You know, when everybody's laughing at her when she gets the blood dunked on? It feels like that. That's what having a meltdown feels like when you're around other people, basically. And like throughout the movie, Carrie's trying to keep her powers hidden. But that moment where everybody's making fun of her, everybody's looking at her, she's doused in blood and she's freaking out, and she just snaps and kills everybody, but she can't totally control it. It's like that. Looks like Carrie wasn't actually a metaphor for puberty after all. It was a metaphor for autism this whole time. Thank you, Mr. King. Very cool. And something that kind of bewilders me is that in this article, that was really only a couple of paragraphs, not really an article, but you know, this article and the title both include the word meltdown. And it's like, did they knowingly include this word? Did they, like, do they know this woman is autistic? I don't think so. It doesn't say anything about autism in the article. Or do they just think the word meltdown is a synonym for, like, a child having a temper tantrum? I don't know. Either way, not a good look. And yeah, that just absolutely floored me. And The literal title, it's so bad. Woman has epic elevator meltdown over someone she claims isn't masked up properly. Are you kidding? Like, if you see somebody freaking out, like, mentally ill or not, it's like epic and like, whoa, check out this crazy woman. What the heck? Like, what the fuck, dude? Gross. Disgusting. Don't use people's mental illnesses and symptoms of those mental illnesses to, like, own the libs, get wrecked. Doot doot air horn noises. Facts don't care about your feelings. Guess what? Facts don't care about your feelings. You know what's a fact? Autistic people exist. Meltdowns are not the same as children having temper tantrums over not getting a toy they want. Autistic people are not entitled for wanting to be shown decency and respect even when, God forbid, they show autistic traits publicly. And autistic women who express confusion, frustration, even outright anger in response to sensory overload are not crazy, are not bitchy, and definitely do not need to be taught a lesson, whatever the fuck that means. Disgusting. Get some help. And what gets me is that most, at least half, I mean, I don't have any statistics, but like a lot of these people, conservatives in general, claim to be Christians. And like this isn't even a matter of like treat gay people nicely even if you think they're sinning or whatever. Like this is just people who are disabled, people who are mentally ill. And those are the people that we're supposed to like have consideration for and listen to when nobody else does. We're supposed to pay attention to the marginalized, the overlooked, the misunderstood. All of those words heavily apply to autistic people and mentally ill and disabled people in general. But no, in American Christianity, anybody who doesn't fit our norms is evil and crazy and deserve to be publicly ridiculed on the internet if they don't agree with us on a political subject. But the ones who are able to pretend to be normal and the ones who advocate for disability rights that convenience us and that align with our politics, those are the ones we accept and pay attention to, not those other ones that actually show symptoms of mental illness, because that's what Jesus died for. Am I right, fellow Christians? But like, at the end of the day, there's no way, unless she comes out and says so, there's no way we can know whether she's actually autistic or not. This is all just speculation, but the point is, if these people like commenting, which I'll show some comments in a bit, if these people encountered like an actual autistic person in real life, in the wild, because we're people, we go outside, and we are allowed to go outside without some neurotypical person to accompany us, because again, we're people. Like, this is how they would see us in real life, and that's not okay at all. It's pretty fucked up. These videos going viral, not all of them, of course, but like, it just doesn't sit right with me that people just like automatically make fun of them, especially when it's clear, like it is in this one, that a person is like somehow mentally ill. It's literally just a modern day freak show, and it's fucked up, man. So let's go ahead and look at some of these cursed comments. First up, he a little confused, but he got the spirit. You know, his terminology is outdated. At least he's trying to be considerate. And in case anybody needs to hear it today, we don't suffer from autism, we suffer from a society that doesn't want us here. The classic vaccines cause autism. Incorrect. A nice hint of eugenics. Buckle in, this one's wild. Jennifer out here doing the Lord's work, though. We love to see it. To address the second comment, we do not need people to control us. We're people, we can go outside on our own. This behavior is caused by outside forces aggravating us and causing meltdowns. We don't just choose to do that. Classic, autism is not an excuse. Can you imagine if somebody says blindness isn't an excuse not to do something? Being deaf isn't an excuse not to do something? Shut the fuck up. And again, another classic. I know autistic people and they don't act like this. Wow, congrats, you know somebody with autism, so does literally everybody else on the planet. You want a prize? These people you know have never ever had meltdowns, which I highly doubt. That means they're in a good environment where people aren't aggravating them. Again, the you shouldn't be outside alone. We don't need your permission to do anything. Period. Hey, what did I tell you? We're a freak show to these people. Everyone I don't like is crazy. So many people wishing harm on this girl. And this last one is absolutely repulsive. You cannot convince me this isn't some kind of fucked up sexual fantasy. I'm gonna puke. In conclusion, repent of your abhorrent souls or face the eternal wrath of the Lord.